Hello everyone, and welcome. Welcome back to CSSBattle.dev. We are working on October 9th. So here we've got a light blue background, some kind of purplish worm sticking out, and a dark blue dot. So you could say it's like two eyes, I guess. Two letter eyes. One is sticking up, the other is inverted. So I figured this would be pretty straightforward. Like looking at it, I see four divs, excuse me. And originally, kind of my plan, you'll see here as I tried to nest two divs inside of a big div. I thought that I would put these two kind of inside of one div, and then I could flip the big one that holds the bottom of the eye and the dot. That way I just have to rotate one div instead of rotating two, I guess, or placing two in different places. But you'll see I go back on that because not only is it a little easier to do it with the four divs, but nesting one in the other, it would create more characters than I think is necessary, right? Maybe if I was doing this professionally on my own personal project, I would put them in one div that way, and then give that div an ID. That way I could like recall that div later on with all of his little features. Right, and I would just have to add the HTML and then put it under the same like class, and I would have a bunch of these things. I guess that was another thing, was I didn't want to use the class attribute. I thought it would be better to do multiple IDs, because I said that yesterday, right? It was better to use multiple IDs when doing these brackets in CSS than doing a class. At least it's better to use multiple IDs in CSS dev. So yeah, margin 0 because those images are flush with the sides. Pretty straightforward stuff, right? We do the background, we do the color. This is me deciding what the size is, trying to estimate it. It's always a little weird doing these divs, trying to size them up properly. I mean, it would be awesome if I could guess the size the first time, but never works out that way. I guess I get pretty close. Looking at yesterday's video, actually, I'm pretty satisfied with how the audio came out. This is way clearer than what I was doing before with all the static in the background. The only thing is, like, every time I adjust myself in my seat, you hear it in the background. It turns out microphones are pretty sensitive to that stuff. It's just a little hard to sit in a chair completely still for 10 minutes. I could do it while I'm typing, no problem, but sitting here watching a video is a little more challenging. All right, yep. I did a position absolute. That way I could adjust it as I like. And that way I would have these two divs, the A and B, sit on top of each other, and then I could adjust B later on. It's always easier for me to have like one div sit on top of each other. That way I'm not messing with two at the same time, I guess. One is overlapping the other completely rather than like being off to the side. I don't know. I find that distracting unless the div is already in its position that it's supposed to be. If there's another div off in the corner somewhere, it distracts me. just a personal preference, I guess. See, in here, um, here is where I was also trying to make a decision whether I should rotate the div and place it up at the top, or if I should place it up at the top and then change the bottom border radius. But I think I decided after moving it. Oh, here's a little interesting tidbit. When you have an absolute position and you have an attribute of, say, left, for okay, here, right, you have the hash A and hash B, and I have a left of 110 pixels, and then I try to change it just the B, and I tried to do it to the right instead, but for some reason left overtakes right, maybe because I've already claimed it for that div, so I need to either call it left 0 or no, that wouldn't work either, because if it was left 0, it would stay left 0, and I couldn't put in the right attribute after that. I wonder why they take precedence. I'm talking about this now. It's actually a little bit early, because in the video I go back on this as well. Like, you'll see. Like, once you can only claim left or right in an absolute position, or top or bottom. It's either left and top or right and bottom, because you can't have both. There's, I don't want to call it a disconnect. There's some kind of overlapping going on, because I've tried it before where it's like I'll do left 100 pixels and then right 100 pixels, thinking that it'll take right because left is above it. Like, I've claimed the right position after I claimed left, so it would just kind of overlap it. But it doesn't seem to work that way, and I'm not sure why. I'm gonna have to look this up and like get back to you. In fact, why don't you watch this video? I've got about 2 minutes left on this video, and I'm gonna go do a little bit of research. Yeah, right here. So if you're watching the video, you got C and D, which have a, why does it have a, oh right, has a left position, and then I have to redo the left position instead of doing a right. Now the weird thing is here, right, so I did a top position, but then I did a top position, but then I did a bottom position with the other two divs. With A and B, I changed it from top and then to bottom, and for some reason it worked out. But then when I do C and D, I try to do top and then bottom, and it doesn't work out, which makes me think there's some kind of precedence or some kind of, what's the word? A preference? Not sure. I might have to get back to you on that one. Anyway, eventually I just kind of scratch it, and instead of trying to do a bottom element, I do a top element. You know, yeah, I just don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments. Tell me why I was able to use top for both elements and then bottom on one of those grouped elements, and it worked. But then when I tried to do it with another group of elements, it didn't. It's hard to explain. If you look at the code, you know what I mean. All right, that's it. Bye for now. I'll see you in the next one.